what makes an idea interesting? Hey everyone, it's Vicky. Today we are answering the question, Vicky, how do I articulate my thoughts so that my ideas spread? Now this is part 2 of the series on articulating your thoughts effectively. If you haven't watched part 1, which covers the basic framework that also Steve Jobs uses to share his ideas in a clear and understandable way, then check it out here. I'll leave the link in the description as well. But if you already have the basic framework, today I want to talk about how do you get people to go from, okay, I understand what you're saying, to this is amazing, this is interesting, I love it, and I want to share that with other people. If that's something you want to do, then keep on watching. To keep things organized, this is how the video is structured. First, we'll talk about what makes an idea interesting in the first place. Then we'll talk about a 4-letter framework that will help you structure your thoughts so that other people find your ideas interesting. We'll show you some examples, and if you stick to the end, I'll show you a bonus 4-letter framework that will help you compound the interest generated with your idea. Let's get to the first part. So first, what makes an idea interesting? For that, we have to understand the paradox of human nature, that we are both neophilic and neophobic, meaning that we love and hate new things. We love new things because of one of our evolutionary characteristic, neoteny, which means that we retain some juvenile, some childlike characteristics, like curiosity, like our love for learning. That lifelong learner is an evolutionary trait where it allows us to learn collective intelligence, collective culture. It allows us to adapt. That's why we love new things. We need to be able to learn to evolve. But on the other hand, we are also so scared of new things. Things that are familiar to us are those things that kept us alive. They didn't kill us. So there is a mere exposure effect that you may have heard of, which means that just by merely being exposed to something, someone, we unconsciously like that thing or that person better. So these two opposing forces are constantly pulling and pushing us when we decide if we like an idea or not. And with all this, you might already intuitively know the answer to the question, what makes something interesting? And studies have been done on this. For example, academic proposals of new, novel, innovative ideas don't tend to get funding as much as those ideas that are just building on something more familiar, a new twist to something that already exists. So in this way, we want to be new, but not too new in order for others to find an idea interesting. And this brings me to the 4-letter framework that will help you structure and guide the way you articulate your thoughts, which is MAYA. This comes from the amazing industrial designer Raymond Loewy, who's behind names like Coca-Cola, Shell, Nabisco. What he found was that people love new things, but they can't be too new. Or in other words, most advanced yet acceptable, MAYA. So how do you use MAYA? You have to balance the surprise with the familiarity. So let's think about the idea that you want to present. Is it on something new, or is it on something that's familiar and you are sharing a new perspective? Depending on the two, you'll take slightly different approaches. If you're talking about something new, you have to make sure you make the connection to something familiar for the audience in order for them to find your idea interesting and not too out of this world. This is exactly what unicorn startups do as well. When they first started, like Airbnb, for example, they called themselves eBay for houses. Once Airbnb is a bit more well-known, Uber then came in and said we are Airbnb for cars. So this idea of attaching something new to an existing idea in order for people to be more open to it is very important. Now here's the first iPhone ad.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Oh, hello, Barney.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Bonjour.
Hi. How you doing there? Yellow? Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yo, yo. Hello? 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 Hello?
So simple, but this is the exact structure, right? Share the context and then bam, here's the new idea that will change your life. You just want enough curiosity. Apple's not explaining what is so great about these ads because they will explain later on. Do not explain what this new thing is. That is key. What you want to do is spark curiosity, right? You do not want to be like every other academic out there with amazing ideas but bore everyone because they're just going into the details and assuming that people are interested. No, what you want to do when you're sharing something new is tie it back to something familiar, give people context, and show them that, hey, this is something new that's related to something you already know, and why don't you find out more? And here, let me show you another example from Apple. See how Apple started with a familiar scene, right? Someone sitting in front of the computer and listening to music. This is so key. That it's not boom, this is something completely new. Check out how innovative this is. No, you want to bring them into the story with you if you're sharing something new, because there is that rejection of new things if it seems too novel. You really want to give people context to help them envision how this new thing is going to fit into their lives. Now, if you're talking about something familiar, here is how to use Maya. You have to, instead of providing the context, you want to inject surprise right away. Let's use another iPhone example, except not the first one, but one where now everyone in the world knows about iPhones. See how now it's not about the context as much as focusing the viewer's eyes onto the specific parts that you want to draw out. If you're talking about something familiar and you're sharing your unique take on it, something new about it, then you want to immediately guide people to focus on those things. Because now context is boring. Context is everyday life. There are a few elements that you want to focus here. First, you want to focus on the aspirational. Why did you come up with that new way of looking at things, right? To keep it fresh, to improve someone's life, to improve that old idea. And combine this with an element of surprise. This is my favorite emotion when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to sharing an idea, especially a familiar one, because in order to get people to pay attention, in order for people not to write you off, you have to give them that bam, pay attention. This is new, right? iPhone did that with someone tapping their foot, and before their foot even hits the ground, everything is downloaded with 5G. That's pretty impressive, right? And they've done that throughout the ad. So use aspirations, add an element of surprise, and now you have a new take on an old idea. And since you made it this far, I'm sharing with you the bonus 4-letter framework to compound the effect of Maya, and that is the framework AIDA. I've talked about this in detail in another video, but the simple breakdown of AIDA is attention, interest, desire, and action. AIDA is the fundamental of marketing, and marketing really is the art and science of getting someone to be open to your message, right? And so when we share an idea and we want that idea to spread, we should definitely use marketing principles. If you look back at the iPod and the iPhone ads, you'll see that they use exactly the AIDA framework with MAYA. For the iPod, it starts with attention, right? Which links to the familiar. Then in interest, it shares why this new approach is revolutionary while being set in the familiar context. Then it's desire, right? Sharing the awesome new benefits and why you would want this in your life. And then it ends with action, guiding people down the customer journey. For the iPhone, we also start with attention, right? Injecting that element of surprise, whoa, this close up, and then I see a person, whoa, look at those new cameras. Then you go into interest, right? Allude to familiarity while going to desire of sharing the awesome new benefits and why you would want this. Then action, getting people to find out more. MAYA plus AIDA equals idea sold. Let me know in the comments if you like these structures, if you like these examples. Check out the other videos I've mentioned. Subscribe, like if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.